for a proud America. I am running for president of the United States of America.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley announcing her candidacy for president, becoming the first notable Republican challenger for former President Trump, as we still await word on whether former VP Mike Pence will also run in 2024.
Are you ready for president? I'll keep you posted.
All right, we'll see. So far, just Trump and Haley have announced their plans to run for the Republican nomination. All this as Pence is now challenging the subpoena from special counsel investigating former President Trump. Let's talk about it all with our panel right now. We start with former communications director for the Indiana Democrats, Jennifer Wagner-Chartier. Jennifer, more potential legal problems mounting for former President Trump. But what do you make of the news this week that Mike Pence is now looking to challenge the special counsel's subpoena on constitutional grounds?
Well, Dan, I'm not surprised that he wants to challenge this. I can't speak to the legal machinations there, but I will actually agree with my fellow panelist, Tony Samuel, on something he said before that I'm not sure how much voters really focus in on all those legal dealings. I think both for Mike Pence and for Nikki Haley, who actually is, pretty good candidate, I think they both face the same problem. It's really hard to run against the guy you used to work for. Especially if you're not going to be able to draw a contrast between, Donald Trump's extremism and what you stand for. So I think for both of them, that presents the biggest issue, the biggest needle that they're going to have to thread should Mike Pence decide to run and now that Nikki Haley's in the race.
Mike, your thoughts on this emerging GOP field with Haley now in the race and Pence still considering a run as well?
Well, I'm glad to see Nikki Haley in the race. We are going to have, once again, the most diversified list of presidential candidates in probably American history. She's extremely bright. She's a female. She's a minority. She's a former Southern governor. I mean, she has all the qualifications the Democrats and the Republicans should want to be the president of the United States. Now, Pence has to be careful because he has to look out for two sets of interests. One is his own political interest, but there's also the interest of history in the future, which is the precedent he would set by obeying a subpoena to testify potentially against the former president. The big news is going to be when Trump gets indicted in the next several days. It's really not the legal machinations, as Jennifer referred to.
We'll see what happens there. Let's turn to Tony Samuel, the 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign. Tony, you see things differently from your perspective?
Well, first of all, I love it when someone agrees with me when I haven't said anything on the show yet, but I know you're talking about my past comments, so thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, what's happening today is you're seeing Nikki Haley roll out her campaign as early as possible, trying to jump in front of Mike Pence and others, Ron DeSantis possibly, and others. But you're going to see more, and you're also going to see that Trump continues to lead the field no matter how many you get in. There's a recent Quinnipiac poll of 1,500 voters nationally that shows him with a 43% lead over about a dozen other potential candidates. So that's going to continue. Yes, he's going to have legal problems, but the American public, I think that the Republican voter realizes that this harassment's been going on since he became president and well before that. It's going to continue, but he's going to keep getting that support.
All right, let's turn to Robin Winston, the former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, to get your reaction to all of this. And Robin, also, what about President Biden this week? He'd been facing criticism for not speaking publicly about the spy balloon and these other aerial objects before finally doing so here this past Thursday.
Well, first off, I get to disagree with Tony now that I've heard what he said. I don't believe that Donald Trump will be in great shape in their party, but I do believe that they will have the cast of Ben-Hur running for president. And that means that there'll be 15 of them running. If he gets 28% of the vote in a primary, he'll be the person that leads. As it relates to the UFO phenomenon, the president said there was no UFO phenomenon. When people fly over our airspace, we shoot them down. And when they fly over Canadian airspace, we help shoot them down. So I think we're sending the message that we're not going to mess around. The president made that pretty clear.
All right, let's turn to the State House now. Former GOP lawmaker Mike Murphy. Mike, this week Senate Republicans dropped a bill dealing with CRT. It's not going to move forward in the Senate. They also held a hearing on marijuana, but they ultimately won't be taking a vote on that issue this year. Focusing Friday on the state budget with the first proposal from Republicans on what they want to spend here these next 2 years, and also expanding the school voucher program in the process.
Well, first of all, I think the killing of the CRT bill just is an example of the good leadership from Rod Bray and Todd Houston. I think it's that whole issue was political during the 22 campaign. It's not really, in my opinion, substantive, and I think they recognize that and toss that to the side. When it comes to marijuana, the fact is it probably will not happen during the Holcomb administration. He's opposed to it.
Right.
But it will happen eventually because there's so much money involved. The state cannot turn down the revenue.
Okay. Jennifer, there was also this news this past week about Diego Morales and the reports that he's hired his own brother-in-law to work in the Secretary of State's office. What should happen here in this situation? Not against the law specifically, but some have questioned whether or not those nepotism laws need to be expanded.
Well, I don't think anyone on this panel, or probably many people, who are tuned into this show, would be surprised that, oh my gosh, Diego got into office and 6 weeks later skirted or found a loophole in the nepotism law that allowed him to hire his brother-in-law to be a co-director, by the way. So there's still someone doing the actual job, but for the princely sum of $108,000 per year. Would that we could all get jobs like that. No one should be shocked by this. Guy was scandal-ridden during the campaign. He's going to be scandal-ridden in office. Obviously, we need to update this law to include every possible relationship to Diego Morales, whom he might hire into his office.
Tony, your response to all that?
Yeah, it's not a good look. Like Jennifer said, there were issues before the campaign. He got through the campaign and got elected. Probably I might have looked for somebody that's just as qualified or more qualified if I was advising. But ethically, or I should say legally, he can do it because it's brother-in-law and not brother or mother, father. There might need to be a change in that law.
Okay, Robin, quickly, you get the last word here.
I'm more concerned about the fact that Diego's part of a group to change how you can vote by absentee and making it more onerous on people that are low income and that are seniors. Hiring his brother-in-law obviously doesn't present well, but passing legislation that'll take back your right to vote is even more disastrous.
Okay, we got to leave it there. Our panel will be back coming up in a few minutes. Also ahead, no more state income tax. Some lawmakers are looking to study that possibility, and that proposal got a hearing this past week at the State House. We'll take you there next to see what it could mean for you.